Hey guys, Dylan here, and today we're going to be doing something different. That being that we're not looking at either a Marvel or a DC character, we're instead looking at an Image Comics character. That character being Invincible. Invincible colorist Bill Crabtree files lawsuit claiming Robert Kirkman tricked him out of his series' ownership rights. Invincible colorist Bill Crabtree has filed a lawsuit against Robert Kirkman, alleging that the series writer and one of the two credited co-creators tricked him out of ownership rights of the series based on a series of false promises and false representations and material omissions. Filed with U.S. District Court, Central California on January 9th, Crabtree's lawsuit stakes his claim in popular Image comic series based on his work as the colorist for the first 50 issues of the book, comprised more than one-third of the title's complete run, and establishing so much of the palette and color scheme, which has since been utilized to draw upon extensively in subsequent comic books and the subsequent television adaptation of the comic book series. As argued by the colorist in the suit, Invincible was prepared by Crabtree, Kirkman, and the others. In particular, the series' second credited co-creator, artist Cory Walker, with the intention that their contributions be merged into inseparable or interdependent parts of Unity as a whole. As such, Crabtree and Kirkman were thus joint authors and co-owners of the copyrights in the work under the Federal Copyright Act. At this time, says Crabtree, the two creators agreed that the colorist would receive 20% of a single issue sales and 10% of any revenue made from derivative works such as Amazon's animated adaptation. However, despite beginning the series as a apparent equal partners, Crabtree claims that in 2005, Kirkman and his agents devised a scheme to fraudulently induce Crabtree to abandon and assign his copyright interest in the work to Kirkman's alter ego, limited liability company Kirkman LLC. That sounds like a wacky scheme if it turns out to be true. Based on the series of false promises and false representations and the material omissions, which was a routine business practice at the time, the lawsuit reads Kirkman and his agents convinced Crabtree to enter into a written certificate of authorship, which post hoc reported to classify Crabtree's contributions as works made for hire. So it looks like even with Image splitting off from everything else and trying to be its own thing to give people like the chance to make their own stuff, they're still getting people to do work for hire contracts. It really looks like nothing ever gets better, and even the people who split off end up becoming just as bad as the people they split from, if this turns out to be true. The lawsuit explains Kirkman falsely told Crabtree that Crabtree's rights and financial interest in the work would remain unchanged if he signed the certificate of authorship, that the document would simply allow Kirkman to market the license of the work more easily, resulting in greater profits for them both. After signing the certificate of authorship, says Crabtree, Kirkman continued to pay Crabtree per original finance agreements at rates greater than $40 per page for single issue sales of the work, including thousands of dollars in connection with the license of the work by MTV for a television-based motion comic and Paramount Pictures for an option for a film and television rights on the work. According to the colorist, based on these repeated and ongoing payments, he believed what Kirkman had originally stated to remain true. This belief was ultimately shattered upon the announcement that Amazon would be moving forward with its animated adaptation, as when Crabtree asked why he didn't receive any royalties from the licensing deal, Kirkman informed him that Kirkman LLC was the sole owner of the work, that Crabtree had no ownership interest and was not entitled to any more monetary proceeds generated from the work as a result of the certificate of authorship. So he basically told him to go fuck himself. Further, Kirkman told Crabtree that the payments he had previously received were actually just bonuses that he paid at his discretion. That's bullshit. that isn't going to hold up at all. Ultimately, Crabtree is seeking a declaration that he is a joint author in Invincible and holds an undivided ownership interest in the entire work, recession of the certificate of authorship, and return of his co-author copyright interest in the work, an accounting of what is owed to Crabtree by Kirkman and other Kirkman LLC virtue of Crabtree's copyright interest in the work, and the monetary damages including punitive damages. Interesting enough, Crabtree's lawyer, Devin McRae, previously represented the Walking Dead artist Tony Moore when he filed a suit against Kirkman in 2012, alleging similar deception regarding the rights to the popular zombie series. The suit settled just 2 months later on still undisclosed terms. And as of the writing of this article, Kirkman has not responded. So according to this, Kirkman has done this to multiple people where he promises them co-ownership of an idea, and then as soon as he gains the opportunity to sell that idea to a bigger entity, then he screws them out of their ownership and doesn't pay them. It's really sad to see this happen if this is what happened. Kirkman was one of the people that really made me want to do my own indie comic, and to think that he would treat his friends, which I'm going to call them that because the people who worked on this stuff had to be close to him, especially if he promised co-ownership. The fact that he would treat his friends like this disgusts me. And I am working with someone on my project that I'm really interested in making, that being a superhero comic known as the Cyclone, and I would never screw him out of his ownership to that version of the character. And I don't know why Kirkman would be trying to screw someone over like this if that is the case. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we're not going to know what happens till the courts decide. I'm interested to know what you guys think. Tell me down below what you guys think of all this stuff. Tell me if you even knew this was happening. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, then share it around. Help people find this channel, especially if they're into comic books. And if you really want to help me out, go donate to my Patreon. For those of you guys who don't know, I have completely separated from the community I was a part of, that being drama and Christian stuff, and I've decided to go into what I was really passionate about, that being superheroes and comic books. Unfortunately, a lot of my audience didn't agree with that, and for the YouTube revenue side of things, I have lost quite a bit of money. So if you want to see this type of content get made and you want to see me review things like comic books, creepypastas, fan fictions, go donate to my Patreon. Any little bit helps out and it all adds up in the end. Thank you guys for supporting me, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.